Wake up, title update 2 is here featuring Laggy and Seregios with their new armor sets, weapons, all that sort of stuff. Today we're going to be talking about my recent builds I've been actually making, and I want to showcase to you guys, especially if you want to just have a more so a comfortable build. I think you could use this as a blueprint for other weapons that utilize a lot of damage. But alright, let's hop into it, and as usual, I do want to let you guys know that the purpose of this build, like I said before, is not just for the casuals and average Monster Hunter players, but it's also that you guys could build upon it. If you guys want to improve it, if you guys could tweak it. Also, let me know what type of builds that you guys are currently rocking. I don't mind you guys sharing in the comment section down below. Especially how I made this build. I literally made this in mind on my own without any sort of help or any sort of builder online. And, oh, what's up? And I just, dude, everyone's getting on camera. Like, did everyone just want it to be on camera as soon as I recorded? Like, earlier it was not even like this before. Jesus. Everyone's just walking past by me. But anyway, look, so nosy just because we're on camera right now. I'm very curious what you guys are rocking, because it's just nice to share like what we're having, and it's also nice to share the intel on what is the most optimized DPS that we can create together. I made this in mind to have the mixed armor sets with the current monsters that we have. I did not make this in mind with Arch-Tempered Uth Duna, just letting you guys know if you ever watch this ever in the future. So this is based off Laggy and Seregios mixed armor sets, along with their set bonus skills, which is one of the most important things in the game. So let's get through it. So these are my current skills, but for those who don't know why this is very important to me, what's really important about their set bonuses is because they give a lot of DPS output. So for Seregios, if we go to Seregios Tenacity, it goes up to Razor Edge level 2. But for this particular build, we're only aiming for level 1 because it wouldn't be possible to go for level 2. And it extends the duration of Adrenaline Rush if triggered again. While the skill is active, it extends the effect duration once. And obviously if we did a level 2 build, it would further increase the attack. So this is just naturally like free buffs that you're getting during your hunt. It's such a game changer, especially how you're just constantly trying to dodge these monsters, and in order for Adrenaline Rush to kick in, it increases attack power after executing a perfectly timed evade just as a monster attack. So pretty much your Dark Souling dodging. Sorry if the terminology is all mixed up. I didn't mean to say it like that. But pretty much we're having Dark Souls dodge for a bigger damage output. So that's how you pretty much proc Adrenaline Rush. You're naturally going to get this throughout the hunt if you are obviously constantly moving and utilizing the dodge a lot, which is, as a longsword user like me, I'm always doing that, and I've been loving this. And also it kicks in as well when you foresight counter with a longsword. Just a little known fact, but it's very weird with Eye Slash counter that it does not trigger for whatever reason. It's kind of weird. And then if we go to Lagiacris, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I keep forgetting. It's so weird how to pronounce it, but anyway, Leviathan's Fury, Azure Belt level 1 and level 2. So level 1 temporarily increases affinity, which is very, very important for DPS, and can deal extra thunder damage upon buildup, which is why Laggy's weapons are the most important weapons to have. No matter what weapon it is, if you're wanting to rock its set bonus skill, it is very important to have Azure Bolt involved into your builds. Now, the only con about this is that not every monster is weak to thunder, so it's not going to be as super effective, but its passive already, where it increases affinity, is worth. And Azure Bolt operates how Zoshia's passives are, where constantly there's like a blast of dragon attack coming out every time you're swinging your weapon, which was one of my previous builds that I have actually created and still rock in this title update when fighting these monsters, and it still works completely fine. But Azure Bolt is something very similar, but I think this is like way better because of the big increase in affinity and how it could deal extra damage if you have a thunder weapon. But again, that's the con also about it. So this is why I made a all-around build based off Laggy and Seregios mix set so that I could focus on DPS. Now I know the raw attack damage may seem low because we're on 746 with 0% affinity currently. Once a lot of these buffs or these abilities start to proc during the hunt, I was able to reach about over 1,000 raw damage with some affinity. Is nuts. I'm not gonna lie with you. It's pretty worth to make this if you're someone who is big on damage, and this is also a very comfortable build to rock with because we have evade extender, we have quick sheath, there's maximum might. We also made a counter charm level 3, and this is something actually new to the update. So you're gonna probably have to grind for new material if you don't have it for it. Let me check. Sorry about that. So it doesn't show like the future levels or whatever for it to upgrade to level 3, but definitely you're gonna use like rarer parts. But I think it's very worth to have because I'm maxed out on Adrenaline Rush level 5, Counter Strike level 3. Counter Strike is it's just free damage also, by the way. I just want to note that. So how Counter-Strike operates is that it temporarily increases attack power after being knocked back. And this applies when you're just countering naturally with a longsword, or what it literally said, when you get hit, you get an attack boost and you get a plus 25 attack. Free damage, right? And then along with the Adrenaline Rush, because we maxed it out to level 5, so we have attack plus 30, having that stacked with Counter-Strike, and this is going to keep looping on and on, right? And then we have the Razor's Edge level 1, and then we have Azur's Bolt level 1, which increases affinity. So we're just stacked on a lot of damage already. This is like a dream come true because I'm still able to play comfortable in this play style, and we're also able to maintain damage because again the purpose was to have a comfortable build. So I'm not really rocking Agitator. As much as I do want to rock Agitator, I think just having Weakness Exploit level 4 would be better if you just want to have consistent damage throughout the whole entire hunt. But here's the thing with Agitator. You might want to switch my decorations because when you max out to level 5 or have it at least on level 4, you have attack plus 16 when the monster gets enraged. When the monster gets mad, you increase attack power and affinity. So if you're on level 4 or 5, that's a big boost. You have a 10 to 15% affinity while your attack is on 16 to 20 attack. So I feel like it's still worth in the long run. That's just me because I've actually rocked Agitator on, for base game or maybe around title update 1. And I was like, as much as Agitator is great, I think I would just stick to Weakness Exploit for this build particularly, just because I feel like with Agitator eventually it fades away and it takes a while sometimes for a monster to get really angry. Then again, it's useful for Tempered. This is very situational on your guys' end, so let me know how you guys feel about it, but I might just experiment more and might rock Agitator. Let me show off the decorations on what I got. Let's go with the current weapons I have actually. So I have Heaven's Thunder, and obviously I have Seregios Longsword as the secondary, you know, just in case if I just want to switch it up, or if the monster is not effective to electricity or lightning, whatever element you want to call it. So for both of these Longswords, I'm rocking Critical Boost level 5 with only level 1 Razor Sharp. Now, I don't recommend this if you really want a comfortable build, because with Razor Sharp, it only grants a 10% chance of no sharpness loss, and I would rather you guys have a 50% chance of no sharpness loss for level 3. But the con of that is that you might have to sacrifice Critical Jewel level 2 and put Razor Sharp instead, so that you could have level 3. So you'll only have a level 3 critical boost instead. But then again, you will still have decent damage. It's not like your damage is completely taken away from you, right? So again, you pick and choose what you want, because personally I just choose the critical boost because I really wanted to see how big of the numbers I can make, you know, in these hunts. But other than that, everything else, this is what I have. Obviously I have my Mighty Jewel, that's free affinity. We have Tenderizer for Weakness Exploit. We have Quick Shield, that is just just the most ideal thing to have for the longsword, no matter what build you have. Quick sheath is so important. This is what I'm currently rocking. Again, I don't blame if people take away the critical boost just to have that razor sharpness, because it could be annoying sharpening your weapon, especially for the second build I'm about to show you guys. Level 1 jewels is really up to you. I don't think there's anything as like important to put on, so anything is up to your preference. I put in stun resistance, just that so it could have more of a comfortability. And evade extender is actually very important. I put this because not just it benefits, you know, for the adrenaline rush and razor's edge, you know, for dodging the attacks, but it's also that these monsters are way more aggressive now, and their attacks have like big AoEs or big sweeps or hitboxes. So dodging these attacks, having space from them is going to be very important personally for me. This is the build I recommend you guys to rock. The other build, I kind of question it a little bit on my Steve build. So here it is. It's very similar to what we originally saw, but my Steve build kind of focuses on the Bladescale honing, which if we go here, just like Razor's Edge or the Adrenaline Rush, narrowly evading a monster's attack while your weapon is drawn grants special sharpness. So once that procs, you have a special sharpness that will help retain your current sharpness on whatever level it is, and after those few swings, then you're back to having your normal sharpness again. But this could always come back. I don't know if there's like a little cooldown, but this could always come back once you do this again. It's sort of like having almost unlimited sharpness on whatever level you have. It's the reason why this sharpness really lacks on the on white. I'm not a big fan on the sharpness for this build. I originally had weakness exploit for this build. I do want to experiment with agitator, but instead of having the challenger jewel, you could put tenderizer if you want to maintain your raw damage, because the raw damage with all the procs kicking in, I had about almost 1,000 just as the previous build I just showcased to you guys, but here this is like, I think I hit 950 or something like that, and I think that's still pretty good for what it is, because this is like a raw build that doesn't focus on any sort of element, and its affinity as well gets really high. It goes up to over 50%. So I think this is like, there's pros and cons to the builds that I have created, and it's really what you guys honestly prefer. And it's funny because Seregios' build is not really meant to be known to have a lot of affinity, especially when the laggy set bonus skill is about affinity. But this ironically has a lot of affinity compared to my previous one that I just showcased to you guys. Another thing I don't really like about this build is the evade window. As much as that is very useful, especially against monsters that will come after you, and you proccing Adrenaline Rush along with Razor's Edge. Oh yeah, we have this on level 2, by the way. So we have Razor's Edge on level 2. So additionally, if triggered again while the skill is active, it further increases attack. So this build is really meant to have like raw attack. What's great about Adrenaline Rush, it will trigger along with Razor's Edge, and evade window really complements that. I decided to slot on evasion jewel just because I had a level 1 on this build, so I decided, okay, let's just build more upon it instead of putting evade extender. And apparently we still have weakness exploit. It's on level 1, but yeah, I think that just comes passively with the armor set. I do recommend to put stun resistance. I did put free meal because I'm just a big fan of free meal. Overall, I think this is still a solid set if you're just looking for raw attack and not utilizing a lot of the procs from the previous one. But this is very similar, right? This is very similar. And also, by the way, we do have actually a passive from the armor set, which is scale layering, and it eternally reduces stamina depletion when health is at 40% or lower. I mean, it's not as like big of a deal, but hey, it's still a free skill to have. And honestly, like from what I've personally experienced, like I said, I still recommend people to use this previous one that I just took away, to use my all-around set, right? But the thing is, with the Steve build that I have, I'm still experimenting with it. Feel free to tweak it. What's great about this is that it's very consistent on damage. more, I think it's potentially more consistent than the previous one. Also, another thing I forgot to mention as well is that you guys are probably wondering every time you make a laggy weapon, what is the convert thunder resistance? This is actually very important to utilize. If you are trying to make a whole build and high damage with the laggy materials or sets, because it increases your weapon's elemental attack proportional to your thunder resistance. So unfortunately, none of my builds have high thunder resistance, but the higher thunder resistance that you have on your build, it will translate to your weapon and you will gain as much attack on your convert thunder resistance ability for your weapon, which is very, very good, and it also creates a very gimmicky build, which I wasn't trying to go for. But I see a lot of people utilizing critical element along with upping and changing up their armor set to have very high thunder resistance in order to do a lot of damage output. But I decided not to focus on this just because, like I said, I'm focusing on creating a comfy build that you guys could still do decent damage on. But I do believe that it is very important for you guys to know these certain abilities. And last but not least, what I have here is the evasion mantle for both of the builds. I think this will complement well, as the evasion mantle ups your attack every time you do dodge an enemy. Alongside it will proc on whatever like Adrenaline Rush or Razor's Edge, so that you could even have more of a attack buff. So we're passively throughout the hunts are getting a lot of buffs as long as you're playing good defensively, right? If you're dodging good, if you're spacing well against the monsters, you're gonna get that damage output for sure. So I hope everyone is able to play well with this. Let me know, try it out. If there's any questions, feel free to comment down below, or if you have any sort of suggestions, comment down below. Just sharing intel overall is very much useful in the comment section. If you guys want more sort of builds like this, let me know, because I'm known to make comfy builds. I forgot to mention this. The purpose also to make these builds is that if you're not grinding for the RTN and you're just using the weapons the guaranteed weapons that you can make and craft, like what I'm doing right now, that's literally the point, because I don't believe in the whole RNG stuff. I don't like using RNG weapons, especially if you're not going to get your best rolls in the RNG stuff. But yes, if you do want to utilize and get better builds, then I highly suggest that you grind for the RTN weapons that could help you get these builds right, just because these slots for decorations really do matter a lot. But that's not the point. I'm trying to make a whole like natural build guide for you guys so that everyone could still do decent damage. I believe this is like decent damage, especially like my base game build for endgame never really relied on RTN weapons. And I might do a laggy build in the future. But alright, y'all, remember, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. There will be more Monster Hunter coverage in the future. Alright, peace, and I hope this video helps.